am in the process of making a music video, which would be like the fourth one I've been working on since summer of 2022. It is now December 4th, and I am in my apartment in the bedroom, and I wanted to show some video. I don't know how well it's going to turn out, but I made 3 different locations within my apartment to do this song, because when I first came to the apartment and I was really unsure on how my approach was going to be to record, I came here because I have a dresser, and I figured I could set my laptop on it, set my mic up, and I could look in the mirror, because I was still finding myself as a singer. I didn't know where to really begin. I only recently, prior to that, heard my voice when I was in the garage at Huber Heights by accident, because I was becoming frustrated. And I wanted to know how people who make recordings have consistency with their voice. For anybody who's heard my music, knows that for the most part I did not do that too well. It does change a little bit, but I love my music a lot, and I do like my voice. A majority of the time, I think I nailed it. But occasionally there's some weird things that come out, and I probably should transition into another key. And because the amount of time that it does take to make an album, and the fact that I wanted to hear my songs that I did write in this lifetime, if it was possible, I knew that I had a huge task in front of me to be able to do a large amount of songs in as brief amount of time as it could be. I've been here for 8 years as of Halloween of 2022. I have 4.5 albums. One that's kind of like a single, like the old 45s, and you have a B-side, as Crazy Life 2018 would be on it, as another version of Heartbreaker that I have not shared yet, and maybe someday I will. And this is the first one that I recorded out here, Playfully Purple, which is by my Christmas light. And I don't remember if it was Personal Lake of Fire, or if it was in Dayton, Ohio, or Happy. It was one of them. I thought it was Personal Lake of Fire, but I started off there. And did I have the studio blanket yet? It's like a soundproof blanket. I had that, so I could cover up the door. I was hoping that I wouldn't disturb the neighbors, and I was hoping that no sound would come into here, because I was very, very serious about recording. And I didn't know what to do. So this is where I started. Do I stand? Do I sit? Do I stand? Do I sit? Especially if I'm going to be doing it as long as it ended up taking me to do it. I do sit most of the time. But in this music video, I wanted to kind of capture what it was like for me to record when I first moved here. So this is number 1, and I'll move on to the other ones a little bit later. I was hoping this video would be short, but I wanted to kind of share with you. This is, I done acoustic, bass, lead guitar, and electric rhythm. I played in my studio, because that is where I done, I think, all of the work for the recent albums. When I sang, I wanted to kind of make it exciting for me to kind of share what it was like, and this is one of them. Here's my car. I got this when I worked at Walmart in 2011, and I really hope someday in this lifetime that I will get to see this car in real life form. I think that would be bad. And I'm not thinking like anything more than factory with very little cosmetics done to it. I think this car is perfect for an idea I have. Check under the hood. Yeah, I think I showed this. See that? It's pretty cool, isn't it? The doors open and the trunk opens. My magical bride. Tiger. Huh? This bear over here, that's little Johnny. You see him? This one? I forget where I got him at. I nicknamed him, or I called him, I'm sorry, I named him Little Johnny. Here's D. I have my stuffed animals. Star. She's still with me. In Inglewood, Ohio, I was walking through a thrift store, Goodwill, and no sooner did I walk in the door, the first path that would be the center of the store, I walked all the way like straight back like she was drawing me to her. And I saw her, she was on a shelf, almost exactly like that, on my right-hand side. And she was on the edge like it was placed there for me. And it was during a very difficult time. I think I paid $2 or $3 for her. And I've had her ever since. I used to sleep with her every night, and she had little stars on her feet, but the stars started to come off, except for that one. There's one star. See that? Magical. Here's this one over here. Do we remember? She always looks so sad. She is with me. And Samantha. This is one of my favorite pictures I had to have down for a little while because they were doing some work here. And I finally got to put it up for my video. And I got some more stuffed animals. My pictures are still up here. Okay. See that? Check this out. My bed. That's my body. That's the one I sleep with all the time. And I got one more video that I'm going to be working on. Hopefully it'll be something a little bit more simpler. And then I have to wrap up my entire project and things that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I wanted to do some of them before this date. And I am reminded continuously that I made good at a BP gas station quite a few years ago. I looked in the window and I said, "See, I told you I would see you again someday." That message is for someone very special that I do hope to have the opportunity to meet, and if I cannot, for whatever reason, I do have peace with that. And I hope everyone else does too. So check this out. My Bible. This is the Bible. I had several of them. I read 3.5 books. And in this Bible, I have it bookmarked. Let's see. For some reason, it's in Daniel. The book of Daniel. And I was thinking to myself, I think of the Word of God often, whatever supports what it is I'm going through. And I do remember that I like the book of Daniel. I can't tell you what it is about, though. No, but when I hear some of the words, it kind of stirs me up psychologically. I like people who are passionate about this book. And when I tend to maybe slip a little bit and need to be reminded, I like when somebody's prepared in conversation. And I've learned that if you are really serious about this book, and you continue to keep mingling with worldly people that don't believe in the book, what it says, day-to-day life can be very challenging. Before I came out, I was surrounded by a lot of people that were very familiar with the Word of God. And it was something that I was delving into every single day of my life, even when I came out. Especially a lot of days in hotel rooms praying and reading, meditating, believing that someday things would be better. And then I end up here. I feel like I've been washed ashore. And look what I found. It is also pink for some reason. I don't know. I didn't know if I necessarily liked pink. I think it's a pretty color. Love is most important. I heard a song called Most Important. So that's probably why I wrote that down. I was trying to figure out what's most important outside of God and having a relationship with God. When you get into the world, what's most important? A lot of people would say people. But this here says love is most important. And I've learned to love myself in such a manner that the majority of people in the Christian community would say is absolutely satanically selfish and self-centered. All you seem to do is care about yourself. Why don't you go help your community pick up the trash in their cities? And you know what God taught me? Tell the community to stop throwing the trash out of their windows when they're driving down the road, and there won't be trash there for anyone to pick up. I made some messes in my life, and I did the best I could to make amends with that and clean that mess up. I shared that in my life story. Let's see what else it says. Speak so others understand you. And I did the best that I could. Or it's like a foreign language. And it's one of the first things I opened up, which was very important to me with the guest part. And the whole time that I have been here, I have been meditating on what Word of God is still alive and very clear in my brain to me during these times, and trying to be as center focused as absolutely possible on my brain. You see, when I listen to other people and their teachings about helping everybody else, I've learned that nobody needs Tracilyn, Michael. There's nobody to help. And what it always boils down to is everybody needs money. We all need money. That fucking sucks, doesn't it? Everything has a price tag on it. And if you aren't paying for it, then somebody you know has to be. I think it's pathetic, and I think God's people should really consider if they are not cowards. As I'm doing what I'm doing, my beliefs became a lot harsher. And I've learned much different. Instead of teaching to go around helping everybody else who doesn't need you and doesn't need to help, they do need money. Do what's in your heart, which is inside of your head, which is inside of your brain. And you will never be bored a day in your life, but we have one problem. We need money for everything. It's crazy, isn't it? God's way. When I focus on myself and I focus on my talents, and in the world you put yourself out there, that's when God has already shown me you will be fine and dandy. However, worldly people don't seem to like it, especially if they have a bug in their ear or a badge. You know, those people who are probably most likely, if they were to be honest, miserable in their positions. Not like love. Love yourself and know that you will piss off a lot of the right people because of it. Someday, we may talk more about that. I am very grateful to be here today doing this. I have 2 more locations. It's a 25-minute video. I just wanted to do some video here quick, and I'm going to get my Sony right now. I'm making a memory. And Grouch is my witness. Oh. Hey, what's going on there? Turn that camera off. Get it away from my dumpster. I used to like the Grouch. Isn't he funny? I wanted to show something really quick. Though it wasn't in my video just yet. Remember this? I love you this. I love her a lot. Almost as much as her. Maybe just as much, but I don't want to say that. Almost as much as Star. She's cute. This is where I got ready. My lipstick. I got any on my teeth. Get away from the light. Bright light. Now I want to show you really quick what happens when I come into my studio. Look what happens to the studio. Here's my baby. She was in a few videos. Or he. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. You tell me. Okay. Remember that picture? That's the back of my CD. I had to put all my stuff in here from the other room. Most of the time, not necessarily when I go in public, I do a little bit, depending on what it is. I try to, when I do it in a home, I do try to straighten it up a little bit. So I actually scrubbed the floors by hand in order to prepare this room. I cleaned it and, did the mirror and stuff because I'm doing a lot of studio work. I don't really have the time to tend to the atmosphere I live in as well when I'm working on projects as to when I'm not really working on projects that are very time consuming. I'm very grateful because I have lots to do, and in between working on my music, doing my music videos, and the other things that I do for now, because I'm working on this project, I wanted to record as many songs as I could up until I was 50. And I still have about a year to go yet. So I'm hoping that as I enter into my 50s, I can do my Miss Las Vegas run, which is 12 of my songs, at least, including Miss Las Vegas, and another song I wrote when I was in Las Vegas in 2012, and I also want to do an album of covers. It's more for psychological reasonings. I'll explain more about that at another time, but that's not going to be for a while yet. I have a lot to do yet. So, that's it. That's what I wanted to share. Say goodbye. Adios. Sayonara. Go away now. Yeah, get out of my bedroom. This is my other studio. I had one in the garage in Huber, then I had one in the one room that I was in Huber, and then I started off here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. You see that? What's going on there? That's my hair, I think. That's pretty cool. I never thought of doing that. I like that effect.